This is a View from the Bridge official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomthegiants.com. It is Tuesday, the 9th of April, 2024. My name is Patrick Smith. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X. You can download us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all of your normal podcast providers. If you're watching on YouTube and you're enjoying the show, why not like and subscribe or send us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and all that good stuff. On this week's show, 3 points from the 4 available and a very entertaining weekend at the SSE Arena against a very well-supported travelling Sheffield Steelers side. That we'll have a look at the action. Jacob Friend will be joining us later for a chat, hot on the heels of his Jim Gillespie Award with Davy Phillips. We have another quarter-final against the Coventry Blaze this weekend as we enter the postseason, so head coach Danny Stewart will be along to chat with us about that. There's a Player of the Month, Giants Awards, and we'll be looking at the quarterfinals and who we think will be progressing to Nottingham for the Final Four. On that, actually, we have a poll running on Twitter at AVFTB on Twitter, just a snap poll. I think it'll be run for another 45 minutes or so. So if you're watching live, go on to Twitter at AVFTB and cast your vote as to who you think from the 4 quarterfinals will progress, and we'll look at that later in the show. If you're watching live, get involved. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, you can send us messages in the chat box, and we'll keep an eye on those. You also find us on Facebook and Instagram alike. Before I introduce the gents, a big thank you to everybody who turned out in off ice on Sunday. We really appreciate those who came along. A bit of an impromptu live show ahead of the awards dinner. Mr. McJimsey, it was good to see you at the weekend.
Yes, I had a lot of fun at the weekend. Got to hang out with all my favourite people. So that was a big advantage. I was thinking to myself, seeing some photographs that says, obviously, the OSC organised the whole thing, and there were some photographs taken. And whatever, how many, quarter of a century ago, 25 years ago, when I started supporting this club, I strained and I tried so hard to grow a playoff beard every year, and I couldn't do it. And now I just look like Santa Claus. When I grow the playoff beard, but hopefully it's going to be there for another 2 full weeks before I get rid of it. So let's go.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. Mr. Kitchen, do you know what says? I was when we came in on Saturday, when I came up on Saturday evening for the game then, and I saw Davy and Gareth Martin. I feared that you weren't there, but there you were, just taking a bit of a break.
Need a break, mate. It's been a long season. I mean, Davy just touched on the OSC organising the event. That wasn't the OSC. There's some of the guys in the OSC played their part, but it was a full team effort for Sunday night's end of season event. But no, Friday we're trying to look at different things next year, and we thought we'd just try something out with Marty, and Davy was perfectly positioned to jump in for a period as well. But it's just we're getting that busy on game nights with a lot of sponsors. And obviously, the main part of my role at the organisation is to look after the sponsors, and getting around to see them is pretty important to make sure they're continuing to support the club, and hopefully we can encourage them to part with some more money to make everything better than what we already do. So that's a big part of it. And with doing the games in the evenings, obviously commentating, it's difficult to do that role. So we're going to try and look at a few things where maybe take a night or two off. As if it's a double header, do one game and not do the other. And at the end of the day, somebody else needs to step up and do the commentating. But as you said the other night, Paddy, it's and I've said this before.
Not easy.
There's people criticize to get when you're doing commentating some people say how easy it is. I mean, how hard can it be? It's not easy. It's not easy. It's you sort of yes, you talk a lot of crap a lot of times. But it's just trying to fill content instead of just staying very quiet. But I'm sure we'll wait and see what happens. But
getting the away team's the hard bit, which you've almost mastered, But getting
your own team.
When me and Marty were doing it's easy when the Giants players, because you recognise and you just know automatically. But getting the away team, like, there's nothing as nervous. I was doing it on Friday night, which says there's nothing as nerve-wracking as soon as the period ends, says like, right, we're going to take an 18-minute break, we'll be right back. And he's like, boom, he's gone away to see sponsors for 15 minutes. And then the teams are back on the ice. You've got the headphones on and you're looking, right, folks, and the team's hit the ice again. Yeah, what are we going to do? I really hope Simon Kitchen comes back soon here. And but he made it back. He made it back in time for puck drop on both occasions. So okay. good. It was a lot of
it's
fun.
good. It was good. Good weekend. Big thanks to it. Like lovely, like to get home, and we'll come to like some of the other stuff later, obviously. But lovely to get home, and some really nice people coming up and shaking my hand and saying they enjoy the podcast and stuff. So really nice stuff. Also, big thank you to Shauna who gave me this as I was walking by. On the bridge, a little bracelet she made of AVFTB. So big thanks to her for that. But yeah, a lovely weekend, lovely meetings, a lot of people sending messages.
I'd have to echo that. And I spoke to Sis when he was dropping me home on Sunday night. We've been doing this, but I don't know, what, 15, 20 years or something mental. And I was blown away by the amount of people that came up just to say hello and says, "Oh, we'll listen to you every Tuesday night." Like I know we see the numbers up in the top corner, but we don't really compute that in the actual people that, come along and really take it as part of their week. So we really appreciate all the kind comments and appreciate every single viewer that tunes in. It was very humbling. Let's put it that way.
Very much so. Very much so. Right. Let's get cracking into these two games. Normally, when you get a double header, I like to mash them all together, but not this week. I want to take these two because they're two very different beasts. So I'm going to just take the two games and look at them individually. And we'll start, of course, with the game that took place on Friday night, which was an overtime win for the Sheffield Steelers. The Giants' goals coming from Roach, Pound, and Goodwin. Mark Simpson scored for the Steelers in the first 40 seconds. Kevin Tansey, Mitchell Balmas, and then Patrick Watling scored and immediately vanished for the weekend. But we'll come to that. Jackson Whistle and nets the Giants 24 shots on, 4 goals against. Tony Maroney in the goal for the Sheffield Steelers, 35 shots on, 3 goals against. Daniel Ferguson and Vitas Lukasvicius were the 2 referees for the weekend. Davy, Steelers struck in the opening 40 seconds, but after a rocky first 5 minutes, I thought we played really well and deserved that lead at the end of 20.
Not only do I think we deserved the lead at the end of the first 20, I also think we deserved the overall win on the night. Just a couple of little details lost in overtime, and they turned up ice very quick. Watling, a very high skilled player, and obviously celebration the match, which we'll probably come on to. But I think in terms of opportunities we had on goal, we maybe just didn't bear down enough. We maybe conceded goals that we haven't been conceding as well lately. Overall, I was pretty happy with it. We chat with Simon after the game and stuff. We were both pretty happy with the performance, and to take a point out of it was I suppose a good thing. But I think we deserved the 2.
Like I say, says you're trying to get that momentum, and you've got a full barn. What you don't want to give up is that early goal, and that early goal came from just mistakes defensively.
Yeah, when we've talked about how good the Steelers have been this year, and you don't want to give them any life, especially earlier on. You want to get off to a great start, and that didn't happen. You give the puck away, and as Davey touched on, it's just little details. Unfortunately, we made a couple of it. I mean, there's that 3-on-1 developing there now, and you can't give Mark Simpson that much space and right in the high slot, and Jackson. He was up against it because at the end of the day, there's 3 different options there to whether a guy's going to shoot or he's going to pass it off the 2 other guys. So it was a difficult start. And I mean, as I say, it's one of those ones where you always want to sort of get back in the game as quick as possible. And I thought we did really well to contain them. And I agree with Davey. And, I know some people still sort of, you can't keep everybody happy. And some people criticize us for, tapping the guys' pads every once in a while. I genuinely thought we deserved something from that game. I know the boys were disappointed not to come out with with the result. And when you go into the overtime period and it's 3-on-3 and there's really talented players on both teams, but given Patrick Watling basically the same space as Mark Simpson got that scored their first goal, and they get the OT winner that well as well. And it's just those little detail that you sort of, it can be mentally, it can be physically, you just sort of want to try and get it back as quick as possible. But I genuinely thought we had a really great opportunity to win the game and before the 60 minutes were up. But I mean, that goal from Josh Roach there, Roachy going coast to coast, and then little layoff to Goody, and Goody getting, the pass right into looking for a tip in front was absolutely fantastic goal. But when you
Goody
watch
doing, sorry to interrupt you, mate, but Goody doing what Goody's been doing since he came in, which is just the unselfishness. Because if you see it open here, he has sight here. He could take a pop here, absolutely. but he just finds that space. He knows that Rochi's coming in and bang.
Yeah, I mean Greenfield's been actually
It was
Greenfield has been
Maroney.
brilliant, but that wasn't
Maroney,
Greenfield. But yeah, it's just a brilliant pass. It's absolutely fantastic, perfectly weighted. And Rochi again, Rochi's very offensive minded defenseman, so he knows when he makes that play, he's got to get to the net, and yeah, it was great to see. But really disappointed not to get more from the game, and the Steelers. While they did have, they obviously lost Rob Dowd, who picked up an injury, and hopefully he's going to be okay for GB, and I don't know if he's going to be okay for the playoffs here for the Steelers. I hope not, from a selfish point of view, because he's a great player, but hope he's okay for GB, obviously. But they've got some really, really top players, but then so do we. We have some really, really good players, and we keep on, we've sort of come back to a bit of health in the last few weeks. And unfortunately, again, Matty McLeod got hurt. Jeff Baum's got hurt now. And it just seems never ending. When you get one guy back, somebody else drops out. But look, it was a solid performance on Friday night. Disappointing, as I say, not to get the 2 points. But, going into Saturday and, with a bit of confidence and playing well against the number one seeds, was important, and obviously coming out, which we're going to talk about Saturday night as well, which obviously ended a bit better for us.
Yeah, we'll come on to that. But what I want to say as well, Davey, from this game is that people are talking about number one seeds, number three, both set in their places. There's nothing to play for here. You didn't see that on the ice, and also I want to give credit to the two referees because I felt that they played it they let it go at a playoff pace.
Well, so I was watching the highlights there as Sis was talking through his stuff there, and stuff that I had noted down. First line change of the game is always critical. It's always a real big thing to get right. We got it wrong. It's slightly wrong, and we give a 3-on-1 up, and obviously they score from it. Speaking to Josh Roach after the game, says, and he was just saying when he got in that attacking zone and he paid it to Goody, he just went back, kept the stick and went, don't, almost eyes closed, don't miss. And he stuck it in. But, it was just, we were talking on the webcast before it started with no idea what sort of game to expect, whether it was going to be a dead rubber. But then you've got 7,000 with 7,300 or something in them Friday night, Sam, wasn't it? Big crowd in there, full bowl. They brought a decent number with them. We had a bit of a laugh about that before the start as well, Paddy. And, they brought a big crowd with them, which obviously energizes because giving them the early goal, they were right up for it. And our crowd came right back into it all around. Like the noise was electric at times. And it definitely helped the Giants in the good place. What was your question? Just whether we were going to get the intensity. I think
whether we got the intensity, and also credit to the referees who I felt let both games go at a playoff pace.
Well, yeah, especially in the first period. And I was talking to, I think it was Nigel Ringland in the first period break, and he was saying, in his opinion, just the intensity of the game, because things were happening so fast, guys weren't having to think and they were just playing instinctively. And it was that kind of game. Really, some really great passes, great goaltending. Jackson, unfortunately, taken, I think it was his own player, maybe caught him there. I can't remember in that instance. Wasn't it? Trailing leg. And I think it pops around behind the net and they stick it in the empty net, don't they? But it was already whistled down. I just think the intensity of that first period, the speed it was played, as you said, the referees put their whistles away. And if they do that the rest of the season, then at least everybody knows where they are. The criticism you have of referees, and unfortunately they always get criticism, whether they're good or bad, is players don't know if the refs are always going to blow it like that. And obviously Saturday night we'll go back with 2 penalty shots to talk about. But yes, I agree with you. That was ref the way I'd like to see every game refereed. Let the guys on the ice decide the outcome of the game, and ultimately that's what happened. Went to overtime. Giants called that one right back at the end. We pulled the goalie, but the extra man hadn't even got into the play when it was in the back of the net. So good performance all around. As I said at the very start of the piece, disappointed not to take 2 points. I thought they were worthy of it. I think we outshot them something like 65-40 shots on off, and I think we outchanced them on grade A chances, probably 2-1, and so we should probably have won that game. Good goal intent. Is it Maroney?
Tony Maroney.
Marone Tony Maroney. I thought he played really, really well through the whole game, and probably on the night gave them the chance to win, and they took their opportunities to win. So on the Saturday night.
Sorry, it says Goody gives us that equalising, gives a bit of momentum going into OT. But let me just ask you, because obviously Patrick Watling comes down the ice, and let's see if there it is. There, Patrick Watling comes down the ice, fires it in, celebrates, and immediately enters the witness protection program.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's very like. I mean, there's a few of the boys weren't happy about that. You know, it's we keep on saying it, but I mean, there's a few people said it was a nothing game. These guys are professional. They want to win. They want to go into the playoffs on a winning streak, and they've been playing very well. We've touched on that. But that, you know, I think one or two of the boys would have had a word with him on Saturday night if he'd have played. But obviously, as you already said, he stayed in the locker room the whole night, along with Valorant as well, who seems to have lost his balls every time once in a while as well.
Mate, you know my opinion on Valorant. But yeah, I thought yeah, if it another one bluffer, but another going back to the conversation of, you know, was it, you know, a dead rubber? Was it this, that, and the other? If it was a dead rubber, then somebody needs to tell Patrick Watling. Anyway, let's get the post game from Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, not a ton to play for right now, but our group just kind of keeps showing up and finding ways to compete. You know, always a fun place to come play. You see the orange corner there with all of our traveling support is pretty impressive as well. How many fans traveled across, and it was nice for us to get a win for them tonight. But yeah, huge character group. You know, guys just don't like losing in that room, and it shows.
Yeah, certainly disappointing. I thought it was a great game of hockey. I thought Sheffield was good. I thought we were good. I thought both goaltenders had good games. You know, a lot to like about that game. Obviously, not conceding and giving up the lead there in the third period, and not starting the game with a 3-on-1 goal against. So, I mean, you know, there's certainly areas we have to clean up, and you know that's a work in progress right now. But we better figure it out pretty quick. I have another game against the champions of the league tomorrow, and then we got playoffs, right? So, you know, I think great game of hockey tonight, playoff atmosphere. Thought the crowd was great, both sets of fans. You know, the lesson to be learned is to beat that team. You got to be next to perfect, and unfortunately tonight, you know, with the start we had, and then a couple of the areas that, you know, you give them a little bit and they take it.
A little bit of a misspeak from the coach there. The champions of what? First seeds. Right, we move on to Saturday's game, and a bit better for the Belfast Giants. A 4-1 win in the final regular season game of this season. Final game of the regular season. Patrick said properly. Greg Prince, Will Cullen with a penalty shot, Daniel Tedesco, and an empty net goal from Mark Cooper with 4 goals for the Belfast Giants, with Scott Allen scoring in the third period for the Sheffield Steelers. Tyler Beskorowany, 39 shots on, 1 goal against. The other side, Matt Greenfield, 46 shots on, 3 goals against. And as I said, Daniel Tedesco and Vitas Lukasvicius were the referees for the entire weekend. Simon, Saturday night was Tyler Beskorowany's night.
I had a conversation with him after the game. Davy was close by, and I remember more or less the same conversation last year. I was just literally chatting away to him, and like Besco knows the story, and he knows he hasn't been playing the way he can this season. Make no mistake about it. We've had this, I don't want to say argument, but discussion a lot over the last few years. We had it during COVID when he played a couple of seasons and then went away and came back again. In my opinion, he's the best goalie we've ever had. And, you know, when Jackson has got his chance this year, and obviously in the month of March, he was excellent. And he's, you know, he was given the game on Friday night. And I'm pretty sure it was set that, you know, one of them, they're going to get a game each this weekend. And that was Besco. I don't want to say back to his best, but that's what we come to expect from Besco. I thought he was excellent. Literally, that started with that penalty save, you know, the penalty shot save early in the first period. You know, just keeping nice and composed, scored the shooter, getting, his opportunity. That he's, as I say, he's been out of the lineup for quite a while. The best goal isn't something that he's used to, but I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was really, really good. And that, you know what? He's given Adam a decision to make this weekend. Who does he go with? Does he go with Besco? Does he go with Wiss? He's really made a decision hard for Adam. And you know what? I think Adam's going to enjoy making that decision as well, because if he plays the way he can play and he gives that chance this week in practice. Now, I didn't get to watch practice this morning, and I'm not going to get a chance to watch it in the next couple of days. Goggles. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens, because hopefully both of them and Dicko, Dicko will do his first share this week, but hopefully Besco and Wes really push each other this week to see who wants to start. Because if Besco turns up the way he did on Saturday night and Jackson turns up the way he's been playing, we've got a really good chance here. These 4 games, just take one at a time, and I think we've got a really good chance to be successful in the next 2 weeks.
It was a game, Davy, again, a bit like Friday night, was a bit end to end. The Giants did come out the stronger. Obviously came out with the win, but there was a sharpness to the Belfast Giants that at times this season we didn't see.
It was a really good first 40 minutes of a 0-0. How it was 0-0, like Greenfield was unbelievable in that for them, as we're talking about how good Besco was. Like Greenfield made some saves in that first and second period, just no business making. Keeper in his post game from the Friday night talking about starting on time, talking about being almost perfect to beat this team, and that's what we were on Saturday night. Obviously, we had to go behind goal, and very, very important to get a quick answer back. I know Simon will have said that in the webcast as well on Friday night and Saturday night. Important to get a quick goal, and that's what we did. And then obviously we go on and get the second not too long after that, and then we'd go and close the game out very, very professionally. I thought it's as good a performance as I would want to see. You get very caught up in the moment. Oh, that's the best they've been all season, but it's certainly a very, very strong performance. When you get good goaltending, when you get good defense, and you get good forwards all on the same night, everybody pulling in the rope, as they like to say, which I thought we got performances all over the ice on Saturday night, and there was a team with a real hunger to close the regular season out in front of that big crowd with a win, and that's ultimately what they went and done.
2 penalty shots in this game. I'll roll it back, says, for that first one, but I didn't think the first one was a penalty shot. To be obviously there'll be opinions here both ways, but let's play it here. Here's the sequence here for those who are watching on YouTube and likes. This I didn't feel warranted a penalty shot.
Do you know what? The forward, I can't remember who it was. Was it Balmas? I can't remember. But I thought that if you watch this play itself, he puts his left leg out here and just gets body position on, I think that's Oliver Cooper, who was basically tracking back for him. Cooper, sees a big forward playing defense. He sort of reaches his left arm around to try and just grab a hold of his arm and, stop him getting the shot away. Because obviously one-handed would have been difficult. I can see why the referee gave it, to be very honest. If it was going the other way and we didn't get a penalty shot, the 3 of us have been straight over the top of that barrier trying to, bang the glass and let the referee know that he's got the wrong decision. I'm okay with it, to be very honest. I'm certainly okay with it, because I was at the end of the day, Best come up with a big save. No, I thought, again, a little bit on the soft side, but with the way penalty shots have been handed out, I don't know if the referees are getting the bonus for penalty shots this year. We've had 5 now in the last 2 weeks. It's, I can understand why he gave it. I do think, ultimately, I think it was the right decision.
Davey, your thought on this one before we go to the next one?
I don't know if we can just spin it back there, Paddy, right the very start of it. I don't know, because I can't seem to have control of
I've got it.
Thing there. As Balmas goes in, he just takes his left hand off his stick and gets his hand on the Roach's stick and just gets body position on him. I suppose by the letter of the law, if you interfere with somebody from behind, you're going to get a penalty for it. You see here, he just takes his hand off his stick, reaches across and engages Roach's stick there and makes it very difficult. It's a clever play. I don't think there's enough separation. The sort of ridge, you got to be fouled from behind. I suppose technically, I kind of feel that Roach's inside on almost there, but just Balmas getting a stick sort of brings him in behind. If you see there, he just reaches across, pulls Roach's stick, and yeah, he buys it, and then the ref buys it, and some go for you, some go against you. It was great save by Besco, and it really then got him engaged in the game. So, if there's a positive to come out of it, it perked Besco up for sure.
And then we come to the next one, mate, and you've got a bit of a video here with regards. I'll start with you, Dave, because there's we had a bit of a disagreement on this on stage at the off ice on Sunday as to whether this was or wasn't a penalty shot. So I'll start with Sis on it because I think it's only fair, and get him have his take on it.
Just left
well, we can hear his commentary.
Oh yeah, so the comedy runs for a wee minute or two.
Now there's a chance here for Belfast. Got to be a penalty.
All day long, penalty shot all day long.
Belfast going with the extra man. 6,000
Listen,
fans call for that penalty there.
Second.
You know what? Aaron Fox will be happy with that.
He got a good hand
Listen
on
to
it.
the surprise.
Got a good two-slash on it. Oh, it's going to be a penalty shot.
I couldn't believe that. I honestly could
Right,
not
so-
believe that.
So
I know
that's
Davy's got his wee
Davy's
stats
got the
there.
rules, but you give me your take on it, Simon.
No, I mean it's a penalty. It's the trips in his own. Literally coming up, McCulley does a really good spot here. Reads the play well, stepping over his own blue line. The defenseman's in perfect position to basically get in and close the gap down on him. It's not a penalty shot. If it goes the other way, we talked about this in the last one. If it goes against us the other way, again, we're all apoplectic over it. It's I just thought it was a very, very soft and strange decision. For me, it's not a penalty shot. One
of the things, and I know what Davey will have as we can see, he'll have the rules up here. I'm just watching. Where did that trip come? Does that trip come in? Does it come in the neutral zone?
You'll see in a minute.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, Davey, you do think this is a penalty shot?
Oh, this is 100% penalty shot. I agree with Simon. Look, if this goes against you, you're probably a wee bit, you're probably not too happy about it. However, we'll let this video run here. This is where Simon goes. He was quite surprised. But it's time to run to the EIHL rulebook for 2023-24. First question you asked, Paddy, was where did the penalty take place? So there's four factors in whether or not you can have a penalty shot call. First one is where the penalty takes place. The infraction must take place in the neutral or attacking zone. And for that is where the puck is, not where the player is. So if you look and see here where the puck is, he's clearly outside. 2, the infraction must have been committed from behind. Clearly from behind. So we're 2 for 2. Okay, happy so far. It's penalty shot. 3rd, the player in the judgment, the referee will have obtained possession. There's no doubt about it. He's going to get that puck. So 3 for 3 so far. There's where he would have been had he got the puck. He's away to the races. We know how quick Will Cullen is. The D-man at this stage, if this had been played at full speed, this is where Will Cullen would have been with that D-man. He's 3-1 on, none on the goalie. Penalty shot all day long, boys. And there's Cully and his 100th game for the Giants, going in, putting a 5-hole on the alleged best goalie. Go ahead.
Just look at you. You're basically saying that if he isn't there, he is there.
I'm saying he's there. There's where the D-man. And by the way, remember that D-man is going south and north. He's hitting the brakes and trying to turn. We're going to have Jacob Friend on in a minute. You can ask him, would he have got back in and Will Cullen with the speed of Cully? Not a chance.
It certainly caused a lot of controversy.
What's up?
You were?
I would have called Cully from there.
Penalty shot says.
No.
Don't think Cully has the legs for it.
I mean, if I hadn't caught him doing the before he got down that, I'd have caught him before he got to the corner. But no, it's never a penalty shot. It was a very, very soft decision from the officials, for sure.
Hang on, says just.
However, I'm really glad that we ended up scoring from the penalty shot. It would have been really pissed off if I hadn't basically scored from it. Like, you get a
great penalty shot as well. Like, let's say you're going up against Greenfield, who is elite to this season. And it's a great finish. It's a great penalty shot and a great celebration. Not one that is over the top.
So I'm just reading the comments down the side here. Davy's 100% right. I would love your fact. God love you, Davy. I'd get my fridge quicker. You think that D-man, if you think Cully's coming there, right to left says full tilt, that D-man's checking at the minute to turn and come in. You think he gets the Cully and doesn't get a stick on him?
I actually genuinely do. He's closing the gap down.
He hasn't started skating. He hasn't started skating yet. He hasn't turned yet.
He's on his arse.
Turning. Cully wouldn't be on his arse. Cully would be almost at the blue line. Anyway.
Your head's for the sweetie white mice.
It's one of those, isn't it?
I'm happy that refs got one of their first calls right all season.
It's one of those, and it's certainly caused a lot of controversy on the night.
But as we said,
Sheffield Steelers fans.
Listen,
it was Cully's 100th game for the club and goal and assist on the night. So congratulations to him on that as well. Game-winning goal from the penalty shot. They don't come often.
The other one was when we were doing the commentary. Of course, Gunga Den Majimsey here standing right to my left-hand side. Yeah. And if you listen to the commentary when Cully was tripped, I shout, "Oh, it's got to be a penalty." And I could hear him in my ear as well. Now, we didn't put the clip out. There was somebody, when we scored, I sent that clip to them, or sent the clip the other day to you. Somebody shouted, an expletive that was basically caught in the microphone. It was hilarious, and that's why Neil had to really redo the audio on one of the goals because of a penalty call. But it was quite funny, actually.
Who's that? Do you know who it was? Can we name and shame?
No, definitely can't name and shame.
Right, a 4-1 win for Belfast Giants. Let's get the post game, and we'll come back with Jacob Friend.
Yeah, like you said, I thought it was another really, really good hockey game. I thought you guys came very hard, played physical all night long. I thought you guys had the better of us the first 6 to 7 minutes of each, the first and the second period. And then I thought we weathered the storm nicely and kind of settled into the period. And we're probably the better team the back end of both the first and the second. Both goaltenders made some great saves. Early in the first period, you guys probably could have been up 2-0. Greener makes 2 huge saves there to keep it at 0. But I thought we got better as the game went on for sure. Yeah, like you said, there's definitely a penalty on that play. When you watch it back, Diff's coming off the bench, probably 2 zones ahead of Cullen there. So I don't know, how 4 guys can settle up and get that one wrong. We take the penalty kill there and maybe changes the game. But then, you guys scoring that penalty shot, game-changing play, obviously. And we start forcing the play a little bit, get caught off the run of play there with 4 below the hash marks. You guys come down off the transition and make it 3-1 game, and then it's, kind of game over there. We're pull a goalie to hope for an extra one there. But like you said, 2 really, really good games of hockey, 2 very good hockey teams. Thought you guys played very physical all weekend long. You could tell that a message had been sent from your group, and I thought they answered and played very well.
Yeah, I thought the first period in particular was the best I've seen us play in a long time. We imposed kind of our will there, and we wanted to do that. We were unhappy with the way that the game ended yesterday, and I thought the guys came out and responded very well. Obviously that's a very good hockey team over there, and they had some fight back, and I thought their goaltender was great. I thought the looks that they got, I thought Besko was great. It could get frustrating when I thought we had the majority of the play there in the first period, and you don't get rewarded for it. And then throughout the second period, they get the first one. And then, I thought the second period was a little more back and forth. And then they get that first one. In the past, we would have sunk our heads a little bit, but we go out and respond our own way and then build on that. So I thought that there was great resiliency there from the group. And that's a great way to end our regular season. Some positive momentum to ride into this week, and it's all about commitment here from here on out, sacrifice, make sure that everybody is giving themselves the best opportunity to feel good going into the weekend, because ultimately it's going to take everybody to get the job done.
The highlights from both games, of course, are available on YouTube from Belfast Giants TV. Let's crack ahead, gentlemen. Have our first interview of the evening. Delighted to welcome the man who, along with Davy Phillips, won the Jim Gillespie Award just the other night at the awards dinner. Jacob Friend, welcome back to View from the Ridge, mate.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Turn your phone 90 degrees.
No problem.
There we go, buddy. How you doing?
Good, guys. Good. Like I said, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Can I start, because you were hanging around the background there, so you obviously saw the conversation with regards to that penalty shot. Can we get your take on that? Because obviously Davy's saying that the D-man's not getting that. Sis is saying that Cully's not quick enough. What are you saying?
I don't really know. I mean, I
Stop
obviously saw
sitting
a
on the
lot.
fence, friendly.
I just think it's. I'm glad I didn't have to make the decision, and it sure is a good thing that wasn't a trophy deciding game, because that would have been an absolute mayhem. Would it not have been?
Sorry, Paddy. Put yourself in Brian Diffley's shoe or skates, friendly. And when you've got Patrick Watling stepping over that blue line, trips him up exactly where Cully was. You're where Brian Diffley was. You're getting in that spot to make sure you close the gap down for him. You're catching him.
I mean, I would like to think I could, but
yeah,
Lord knows.
Of course you would. Absolutely.
I just think that. I mean, I think there's a case for both sides. I would have been unhappy if there was a penalty shot and it was like that, and I was on the ice, and I could see why they're unhappy. But I could also see how Cully could actually easily have a breakaway, let alone 2-on-1 with OC, I think it was there. But I didn't realize the rules until Davey pointed them out. I guess that I didn't see the last one, but I guess that is 3 of 4.
The last one is that the D-man is not between the goalie and the player. So it's 4 for 4. He's not between them.
Yeah.
He's off to the side. So as you say, you could argue it either way, but
I know
4 for 4.
I know, and I know, with all respect to Diffley, I know he's not, and Lord knows I'm not either, but I know he's not also their best skating defenseman on the team. So I don't know if he was coming off the bench, if he was where he was coming from. But I mean, who knows what would have happened, but it doesn't matter now.
Yeah. Gives you take on the weekend, Friendly. I think that, obviously when we spoke about it earlier in the show, people were saying, both teams are set where they are in first and third, but both teams want momentum going into the playoffs. And certainly the intensity that both those games were played at was high.
Yeah, obviously I thought the games were amazing. I think, very entertaining games for whoever was there. Both teams played very, very hard. I think you're right. Obviously, the games meant nothing in terms of the standings, but they meant everything in terms of momentum and confidence and going into the playoffs. I thought that we played very, very well. We were easily deserving to win both games. And you know what? They could have also easily won both games. But the fact that you think that you can just kind of show up into playoffs and play your best game is just not the case. And having a weekend against 2 of the top teams in the league and playing well, both sides, I think it's big for both us and them to get some momentum going into playoffs. And obviously we're happy that we got the win on Saturday and nearly got the win on Friday. Obviously some very entertaining games.
Jacob, let's take it away from the sort of hockey at the minute and sort of a little bit on the Sunday night, the awards night. You obviously picked up the Jim Gillespie Award for sort of what you do away from the ice. We often joke that there's a Jim Gillespie clause almost in players' contracts when they come to Belfast. They're expected to do a little bit away from the ice, and you've certainly embraced that and give so much back to Belfast, which makes me really proud that you guys come in and do that. So thank you for that, first of all. But just what's it been like getting involved in stuff away from the ice?
Well, I thoroughly enjoy it. Laura and Simon have some hand in that, like setting up some stuff. And I've told them both that. But that I honestly do enjoy it. I think I've done it on every team that I've been to, starting all the way back to the OHL days, no one sound. I just think it's fun. I mean, it's rewarding. And I said the same. I'll say something similar than what I said on Sunday. I mean, like, I honestly just enjoy, like, giving back to those people that need it, or sometimes those people don't even know that they need it. And a lot of these people are going through things that I myself or a lot of us would have absolutely no idea how to comprehend. And sometimes they can't even comprehend what they're going through. And just to be a small part in their lives and bringing some joy and some happiness or whatever it may be, even just a different face, whether they're in the hospital, they see the same people all the time, see someone fresh, whether they enjoy it or not. I mean, I honestly genuinely enjoy doing it because that brings joy to myself, being able to do that for someone else. And obviously being a Giant in Belfast, you have a little bit of you're a little bit of a role model to other people. People look up to you, and you don't want to take that for granted. You obviously want to use that for good for the community and give back to those people that look up to you.
Tell us about the choir after the game on Friday night, wasn't it? You, Travis, and Laura were serenaded.
Yeah, that was unreal. I mean, so Helen is the one that helped us out when we went to the Daisy Lodge in Newcastle. And I had a family friend who had cancer when he was a kid, so that's been something that's close to my heart. And as soon as I found out that we had a partnership with them, I reached out to Helen just to see if I could do something on my own. And she had just mentioned this Carefree Choir, what you're referring to. And they have Wednesday nights, they have a choir practice. They're a real choir. They're honestly amazing. They've sang for, I want to say it's the Prime Minister, but I'm not fully sure. But this was a couple weeks ago. So they're the real deal. I mean, they're not just like some put together type thing. They're seriously good. So I go there. I help out these two ladies who serve them dinner. That's on Wednesday nights. So a lot of them have never been to the game. So they all came on Friday. And their, I don't know, ritual, I guess, is anytime someone new comes and sees the choir, they sing for them personally. So they did that to me the first time that I went to one of their Wednesday nights, and then they did that for Laura and Travis, and Laura was obviously bawling her eyes out because you know how emotional.
Doesn't sound like Laura.
But that was a lot of them their first Giants game, and I was able to do that for them. And I said this on Sunday night. I think that was one of the most rewarding parts for me off the ice this season, was just seeing how happy they were and how much fun they had, and some of them were talking about how it helped them with their treatments, and that was obviously awesome to hear, and it created a lot of new fans. A lot of them said that they're going to come back to the games.
Yeah, I know that. Like, do you know what? There's a lot. I said this on Saturday or on Sunday night when you and David were on the stage. A lot of the stuff we do off the ice, and Laura is fully behind 99.9% of it. A lot of the stuff we do goes unnoticed, and we don't necessarily go and promote it because it's just it's the right thing to do. It's just the way we are. It's just the way in our culture. And Davey just was mentioned as well. We really appreciate you doing that, and it's the same as same as Davey. It seems all the other boys that basically go out and do all these wee bits and pieces, and they just try and make someone's day. I mean, I've seen you on the ice with the kids last Wednesday or last Thursday morning. I can't remember which one it was. Just been so busy last week.
I think it was Tuesday, but regardless.
So you basically have all the kids that are on the ice, and all those kids that are there have been affected by cancer in one way or the other. Whether it's their parents, whether it's their grandparents, whether it's themselves, their brothers or sisters. And for what you do, I think it's fair to say from the boys on AVFTB, thank you very, very much, because it's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the hockey side of things now.
Let's do it.
You threw a couple of big hits on Friday and Saturday night, which we all love to see. And obviously coming into playoff hockey, it's literally it's do or die. You've got to get out there this weekend. You've got to set a marker from every first shift. And you must be looking forward to the game against Coventry on Saturday night at the arena.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in Kiefer's post-game interview there on Saturday. We didn't really like how the game ended on Friday, and we obviously wanted to send a little bit of a message, just not even about anything specific, just honestly that doesn't matter the game, that means nothing in the standings. We are gonna fight for every inch, and we're gonna make sure that you fight for every inch, and we want it to be a playoff style game. And obviously the first period we came out and kind of, like Kiefer said, just kind of imposed their will and set the tone really for the whole game. And obviously they're a good team and they responded, and it kind of set the pace for the game, which honestly made the game that much more fun to play. I love that style of play. I think playoffs, my whole life, I've kind of taken a step forward, being able to play at a little bit of an extra level in playoffs. And obviously we took a step as a team, I think, towards playing playoff hockey last weekend against Sheffield, and me myself also did that, and I've been able to perform pretty well in playoffs in my past career, and it's the most exciting time of the year, like you said, do or die, and even in this league it's even more so, and I'm excited for the challenge and looking forward to get it going this weekend.
Like when it comes to hits, Jacob, like you've been the catalyst for this team all season long, like leading hits. I don't know how many times people have entered the friend zone. It's been 120, 130 times or something this season. You've been clinical from the start of the season. It's been something that I don't know, is it a little thing in your own head? Just you like to get in there. It's like leading the team, being that leader on the ice.
Yeah, I think it's something that I learned very young. I think in Canada we started hitting when I believe we was 8 years old. Just doing hitting clinics, and I mean, I think it just helps me get in the game, helps me, just get engaged in playing the right way. It's obviously harder to play against a player who's more physical, and that is key in my style of play is as a defenseman is making sure that it's tough for their other team's best players to get puck touches, to enter the zone. If they get a shot on net, know that it's not going to be a freebie. You're gonna have to pay for wherever you're getting space with the puck. You're gonna have to pay for it, and it does come naturally to me. It's a little bit of a skill. Sometimes it's luck. It's a lot of timing, angling. We work on that quite a bit on this team, and I do want to be that guy that is the defensive defenseman playing against the other team's best players. And to do that, you have to make it hard. You have to take time and space away from them, and that's one big way to do it. And honestly, it's just a way to deter players from coming towards the net, coming into the zone. I mean, you could see, and I know tons of times where I've played against guys in this league that really don't like that style of play, and oftentimes it is other teams' best players, and they turn away from it quite a bit. So I mean, I think it's a crucial part to my game and the team's game as well.
I think defense. Sorry, what I was going to say is one of the things that came from the awards night as well is, and I want just your take on it, is that obviously when it comes to these awards, usually you see the forwards and the goal scorers, lifting everything and walking away, but not this year. Jeff Baum seems to he's been the MVP, he's defenseman of the year, he's lifted four awards from the blue line. What are your opinions on the way he's been this season?
I think he's extremely deserving of the acknowledgements and the accomplishments he got on Sunday. I genuinely believe that he is the most valuable player on our team, and that goes to show that he's obviously going to be the best defender on our team if he's the most valuable player as a whole. But he's good. I've been telling him for a long time that he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, and he 100% got it. He's super consistent. You always know what you're going to get from him on the ice. You never have to worry about him making mistakes. I know it's funny, but because everyone makes mistakes, but his are few and far between. He's a leader, and what I like about him is he leads more by example rather with his voice. Like I said, just by being consistent, being solid, and it's super unfortunate that we're going to miss him for a bit, but that's the way that our season goes, and it's been going that way, and it's just the next man up mentality. I know he referred to that on Sunday, but I think in short, he deserves everything that he got on Sunday, and I'm extremely happy for him.
Obviously, we've got a big weekend ahead of us, the Coventry Blaze, and we spoke about that and spoke about the momentum you take in. What I will ask before we let you go is, your first season as a Belfast Giant. We talked about fantastic stuff you've done off the ice, but what are you taking away from this experience with the Belfast Giants through this regular season?
I loved it here, and I think the season was eye-opening because it was such a challenge through slumps, through injuries. We didn't play the best all the time. We played great, deserved wins, and didn't get them. You can argue that we got wins that maybe we didn't deserve, but the experience as a whole has been absolutely phenomenal. Met teammates that I'm happy I got to meet. I'm very happy I got to play for Kiefer. He's an exceptional coach. I love the way he coaches us. But I'm just happy that we still have a chance to win a trophy. I think that we could have definitely done better, won more trophies, but just the way that it happened, it wasn't. But taking away that we still have another chance to win another trophy and win the last game of the season. I've never done that before, and I really hope that we can get that done.
Well, I'd just like to echo what Davy and Sis said, and thank you for everything you've done with the Belfast Giants, both on and off the ice. It's been phenomenal, and especially the off-ice stuff. You and Davy more than deserve the recognition that you got on Sunday night. And good luck this weekend, and thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks, lads. Appreciate it.
Laura said she had a few tears that she wasn't bawling. So.
Well, that's a complete lie because she could barely hold herself together.
Give her a wave. Give her a wave.
Nice.
She is watching.
Thanks, friendly.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Have a great night.
Cheers, buddy. Big thanks to Jacob Friend for his time there. He's dropped off the other, but Davey, you said it there. Hitting everything that moved. It's been a great season for him. Davey?
I've spoke to Sis about Jacob Friend in the past. I like his game. I like the style of game he plays. He is a bit of a catalyst for the physical side of the game, and I know we all especially love that sort of old school hitting game. And there's been some highlight reel smashes from him at the blue line, Cronwall-esque stuff. As that dies out of the game, it's good to see guys like Jacob keeping that alive in the game. And then you go on to stuff. I could listen to him talking about his off-ice experience there for another 10 minutes. Very, very humble, and you find that with guys that do this kind of thing. Probably don't really like talking about it, but you can see how much he put in off the ice. Man, that guy's a giant.
That's it. Says you spoke about it there. You see firsthand what he does both on and off the ice. But especially we spoke at length there about the off the ice stuff, and that's what his award came from, and rightly so.
Yeah, he's a great lad. His mum and dad are here at the minute as well, and I think it's a couple of times they've been over. But you know what? He's just the nicest kid. He goes out of his way all the time for other people as well, and I know Laura really, really appreciates it, and as does Davey. And don't get me wrong, there's a few other guys as well that love doing the other bits and pieces, but Davey and Jacob have just gone out of their way without being asked on a lot of occasions to go and do bits and pieces. And it's great to see. And do you know what? A hockey player, it is difficult getting your day in at times. Like, I mean, I know some of them like gaming all day, and some of them like other bits and pieces. But there's it is tough to get your day in. So if you're skating in the morning, you go to the gym, and after that you have some lunch, you have a nap. You're sitting about watching TV. You got a chance to go out and do something good for other people, and those two are definitely two of those guys that do that.
Big thanks again to Jacob Friend for that, for spending time. That was a great piece. Hello from Mexico from Sarah Austin. Hello. There was somebody sent a message last week. There was somewhere Oviedo. Somebody was watching Oviedo in Spain. Lovely part of the world. Right, let's get to the Player of the Month award, and the Player of the Month for March. We asked you to cast your votes. And I'll just bring up the feature here. We asked you to cast your votes on Twitter, and one of the most overwhelming results we've ever had in the Player of the Month awards. Jackson Whistle picks up his fifth Player of the Month award.
He's solid. He's came in. He's give confidence into the team, and his performances have been outstanding.
And a bit of pride from ourselves. The Player of the Month award was presented by Ruby and Lily McGimsey and Rasheen and Declan Smith. As I said, Jackson Whistle's 5th A View from the Bridge Player of the Month award. He 4 times on his own, 1 time as part of a goalie setup where we give it to him, Tyler Beskorowany, and to Andrew Dixon. But very, very well deserved, Davy.
Yes, his numbers speak for themselves in the month of March. A time when we were trying to gear up for getting on to a bit of a playoff run. We probably, if we look back now, we know we accepted that the league was probably a stretch too far for us. So we've probably been trying to get into playoff mode for a month now. And Jackson was a big part of that. You know, played 9 games, won 7, 1 overtimes, and 1 overtime loss, took points in every game in the month. All you want your goaltenders to do is to give you a chance to win, and Whistle over the month of March gives us a chance to do that. He was exceptional. 94.72, I think we said last weekend. Save percentage, goals against average of less than 2. You know, and in hockey, you should be scoring more than 2 to win a game generally, and we've been able to do that over the last few months. It was a very, very strong month for him.
Says Jackson Whistle.
Yeah, he thoroughly deserved. It's 5 times. Goalies can be a very lonely position a lot of the time, and as Davey touched on there, and he's been kept busy this last month as well. He's been out. He's probably not used to playing that many games in a row over the last few years. So, you get in a bit of a groove. He's talked about that before. We had him on. Was it last week we had him on? I think it was, wasn't it?
It was last week, yeah.
When you get the chance to get out there and basically, help the team, he hasn't let anybody down. And as I say, it's a massive decision for Adam this week, whether he goes with Jackson Whistle or whether he goes with Beskorowany. So congratulations to Jackson, as I say, thoroughly deserved.
Obviously, I agree with all of that. I think Jackson's been absolutely brilliant. I think it's the way that he's played, the way he's given us that chance to win night in, night out through that month and stepped up when we needed him. We said that to him last week. Obviously, now I'm just going to have a bit of a personal note, and it was... Sorry, David, you were going to say something there?
Just before you go, actually, the one thing that really stood out for me there was the first person, I know Sean Larson stuff was given him a wee poke to get up before it was even announced who was going to get it. Straight over, Besko was straight over to fist bump him before he went up for the award. So that little goalies union's nice and tight. Besko was just coming off a man of the match performance. Your backup goaltender in the Knights picking up player of the month. That's strong for the club.
It really is. And then, yes, just a personal moment. It makes, we do, I really enjoy doing a View from the Bridge. I have done. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. It's been a labor of love for many, 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 many years. But that moment there for me, as you can see, I'm probably off to the side, was a very proud one to see I'm sure as it was for you, Davey, to see my 2 little ones do that. Our Declan was hilarious. I think Jackson Whistle came over to give him the fist bump him, and Declan just stood and waved at him. But to have that little moment and have my kids do that, Davey, I'm sure I'll let you, but it was a proud dad moment.
Yeah, as I said to somebody on Twitter the other day, I'll swap it for the playoffs. So it's much as I like to see him down there. If there's a different trophy up for grabs, I'll explain it to Ruby. That's the Lily.
You sound like Gabe Bast now, mate. You sound like Gabe Bast. Come on, let's not have Gabe Bast.
No, it was very nice, and I guess that's been going for about 5 years now. The Player of the Year trophy and our Player of the Month trophy and 4 kids. What I really like this, I guess,
8
more than anything. Lily and Roisin really hit it off, and so hard to separate them at the end of the night, which was nice as well. It was the first time we've obviously had all 4 of them in the same place at the same time, so it was nice too. So it was nice.
Nice to moment. Really, really enjoyed it. Congratulations to now you see our Declan just standing there, just staring at Jackson Whistle, not knowing what to do. But they were buzzing for like days, you know what I mean, and even on the flight back from Aldergrove to Manchester, they were still like, can we see the video? Can we see the photographs? It was a nice moment, a really nice moment, one I really enjoyed. But yes, a big congratulations to Jackson Whistle, his 5th time as the winner of the View from the Bridge Player of the Month. Big thanks to Funnel Cap sponsoring the award. Right, now, league news. I'll drop this out. Normally we play the goals of the week, but there aren't any at the minute. 2 main topics to consider here. First, the qualification to the playoffs. On the final weekend of the regular season, Fife were the first of the bottom end teams the battling bottom teams to secure their spot. Despite losing 4-2 at home to Sheffield on Wednesday night, the 6-2 victory in Dundee gave them all they needed to progress with the X by their name. So then there were 4: Nottingham, Dundee, Coventry, Glasgow. And what a series of results it was. Elsewhere on Saturday, the Panthers gave themselves hope with a 4-2 win in Altrincham over the Storm. Coventry smashed the doors off the Kylebon Arena with a 5-0 shutout over the Devils, while the Clan went the other way and with it slipping 6-3 into the Flames in Surrey. So as Sunday rolled in, there was still all to play for. And theoretically, any of those final 4 could have made the final 8. But the 3-2 overtime win at home to the Storm wasn't enough for Nottingham. And Coventry winning 4-3 over Guildford and Dundee getting 4-1 away win at Fife put them in the final playoff spots as the Clan became the second team eliminated with an 8-5 home defeat to the Devils, leaving them dead last. So let's have a quick look at how the league table ended up, and we'll look at that bottom end. Let's zoom in a bit. As I said, so we already knew who the top 5 were. Coventry, as we know, will face ourselves in the playoff quarterfinals, finishing 6th. Dundee 7th, Fife 8th, Nottingham 9th, and Glasgow 10th. We'll talk about that in just a second, because other news, there was a bit of controversy in Clontarf as an interview was released, pulled and edited because Jason Morgan seemed to suggest that goalkeeper Antti Carolina was playing with a mild concussion. Statements from the Clan, the league, and the Clan captain Dyson Stevenson completely refuted this claim, and we've spoken with trusted friends at the Clan who assure us that this was not the case. In fact, in the modern climate, there's no way that such a thing could probably happen. You know, there are too many safeguards, too many procedures, and the microscope would be on the league for such a lapse. I, for one, don't think he was. I think that Jason Morgan was looking for excuses.
It sounds like it. You know, I'd be very, very surprised if the Clan let him play if he had a concussion, mild or not. I'd be very, very surprised indeed. You know, the player's health's paramount, and I know for sure that would not be the case here under any circumstances. You know, players play hurt all the time, the time.
Yes.
You know, it could be knocks and you know, it's probably very, very unusual that a player's 100% in every game. Like, I mean, it's an absolute certainty he's not 100% every game, but with a concussion, you can't take any chances. And I'd be very surprised if the Clan let him play if they knew he had a concussion. Very, very surprised. So I think Jason Morgan, it sounds like he's clutching at straws. You know, he was brought in to do a job. It's not been done. They finished bottom of the table. They've won 10 games in regulation this year, which, in all fairness, is absolutely horrendous. I'd be very surprised. As I say, if that was the case, I just can't see it at all. And I know the Clan have come out and refuted it. Dyson Stevenson said the same thing. But you know, the bottom line is, I hope the player's okay. You know, Antti Carolina, I hope he's okay. I mean, I've had a few concussions in my time as well, and it was different when I was playing because I couldn't even spell concussion back then. So you sort of, as a player, you just want to play, and it wasn't really there. The support wasn't there back when I was playing, and it's sort of just. I mean, I remember getting concussed in Guildford one night. Paul Thompson cross-checked me in the side of the head. I played the next night in Oxford, like a complete and utter lunatic, and then I slept for about a week after that in a dark room, and it wasn't the right thing to do. But again, I just can't see it at all, to be honest.
Davey, one of the things that gets me from it as well, you know, if it is a case to which to me it sounds like that Jason Morgan's trying to cover his own back with regards to how the results have gone or how that result went. My issue is that we've had a season here where the input of the medical teams, Belfast, Nottingham, you know, the impact of the medical teams has been key, and has been to throw something like that out there throws a doubt over a medical team, and I just don't like it.
Yeah, I can't really add much more to what Simon said. You know, guys do play hurt every single day of the week, but you don't play hurt with a brain injury anymore, and that's what a concussion is. It's an injury to your brain. I haven't I don't know whether the 3-on-3 podcast is out yet or not, but I know Victoria
very good as well.
Is speaking on that, and you know, a very eminent professor when it comes to that. She knows her onions when it comes to that. So I look forward to speaking to it or to listening to that. Or I can only speak, like, there's no way a medical team is going to send in 2024 is sending a concussed player out to play. It's just not happening. As much as it's so important to us and it's so important to the players, it's a game, and it's not a matter of, you know, it shouldn't be a case of you put your future at risk to go and play one more game. You know, players also now know so much more about the risks of concussion, and I don't think there's very many players would go and take the chance with a concussion. We had players earlier in the season with knocks, didn't take the chance to go and play, weren't allowed by medical teams. Simon's already said that himself. You know, you just do not take the chance with your brain anymore. We don't know enough about what goes on inside there, you know, without scans and all that kind of stuff. So if you've got, there's protocols in place, and if he ticked all those boxes to be on the ice, then fair enough. And if he didn't, there's no way the medical team. So I would trust those friends that we spoke to earlier on that said, you know, in a list of things that didn't happen that day, that was one of them. So fair enough.
Says, give us your take on this final setup here. Nottingham and Glasgow were the two to drop out. Now, Nottingham have had their difficulties this season. We all know, and we all know it was a real battle for them. In the end, they nearly got there. And you got to give them credit for that. Glasgow, as you said, that is a massive disaster.
Yeah, no, it's not been good enough. I mean, they came in making a big noise. You know, they've been selling out their arena regularly over the season. I mean, I think just looking at the standings there, 10 regulation wins, 9 in overtime or shootout. So that's 19 wins in 54 games, finishing bottom of the table. You know, they would have spent a lot of money. You know, the owner of the club wanted to come in, and he said he was going to support the coach and do what he had to do. And it looks like he has. You know, he's went out there, and they've got 2 import goalies throughout the season, and they were chopping and changing who was number one. It's hard to tell. But, you know, for to finish 10th in that league, they will, if they're not raging, they should be raging, in my opinion. And I'm sure, you know, obviously our good friend Murph is working up there, and I haven't spoken to him at all in the last few weeks. But you know, he would have, I would say him and the group up there are be very, very disappointed the way. And not getting to the playoffs is another big disappointment. You know, they had their chances. Yeah, they had their chances. I mean, one point 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were sitting in 6th place, and now they're obviously holding the strongest team in the league, holding the table up. So, you know, Nottingham, on the other hand, you know, I said this a few weeks ago on the podcast. I think their coach should get Coach of the Year. For what he's had to deal with this the whole way through the season and hold that group together, I think it deserves massive, massive credit. That group I'd be surprised if they're not still stinging from what's happened this year for them.
Of course.
And they get it right down to the last day and have a chance and win their games coming down into the stretch and just obviously falling slightly short. It would have been a real. Do you know what? I think if they had finished 8th place, they'd have really give the Steelers a run for their money. I genuinely believe that. But they're not there as well. And obviously, you know, the Nottingham Arena in 2 weeks' time will be a lot less black and gold jerseys hanging about. So, but congratulations to the 5 Dundee and Coventry. They did what they had to do, especially Coventry. I know we're going to hear from Danny Stewart here shortly. And, you know, to be honest, they looked dead in the water last weekend and come out with a 5-0 win away to Cardiff and then win the next night as well. That's absolutely massive for them. So they'll be coming into this weekend against us absolutely buoyant. And we need to be very, very wary of it.
Obviously, as well with Coventry having lost Keno as well only a few weeks ago and trying to dig their way back out of that, Davy. You know, we are going to hear from Danny Stewart very shortly, but just to give you a bit of ahead of that, I asked him to sum it up, and he says that resilience resilience is a word that you could probably hold for Nottingham as well as Coventry. You know, Nottingham coming so close within a point. Like if they had got that point, they would have finished 8th because they had more regulation wins in the 5 Flyers within a point of qualifying for the playoffs, given what they've had to face this year.
done really well, mate. If I go bottom to top, I think we spoke to Jason Morgan earlier in the season, right near the very start of the season, and would sort of said to him what was the targets for the season, and he says it was just to make progression. And I think I'm right saying we had them in the playoffs last year, so they finished 8th.
Yep.
Because we won the league and the Challenge Cup in the playoffs last year, so just like to get that in.
Yep.
So they've taken two huge steps backwards there. I know Murph's first year there, and he'll learn lots and learn quickly. And when he's going again and over the summer here, I imagine he'll be looking at different things going forward. Panthers, we spoke about them a whole lot from the tragic events at the end of October. I honestly don't know how they managed to function as a club to get through it. More part of their elbow, absolutely. And I know it would be very remiss of me to try and say anything nice about the Panthers, but on this occasion, I think that what their coaching staff have done, their medical staff, the players, the families all involved, stuck together through, you don't say thick and thin, they stuck through thin there. That was a hard time, and there was times it would have been easy, and it looked like they were going to collapse, and they came with a real run there. It could have been, and say go to Ice Sheffield. The last time they went to Ice Sheffield, didn't they win 8 or 9-0 in the playoffs? So, anything could have happened there, but wasn't to be. Fife, friend of the show, Tom Cullen, has managed to get that Fife Flyers team. I think they were the form team since the turn of the year. Friend of the show, Mark Lefebvre in Dundee, signed a new 2-year contract today, and said he's got golden handcuffs again as friend of the show for the next 2 years with AVFTB anytime we need him. And and Danny Stewart, who's coming on there, they faced a lot of adversity as well. And in the last weekend, 10 days, they showed up when it really, really mattered. They are not going to go away easily at the weekend. So, I expect 2 very, very hard games going down to the last period.
Yep, and that's how it all wrapped up. We'll talk about the playoff predictions later on. We're going to hear from Danny Stewart in a few moments as well. One more bit of news that we were talking to a few friends within the Elite League. A TV deal is in the offing for the Elite League playoff final weekend, and we'd expect to hear news of that later within the next week, I'd say. So yeah, I think we're going to be seeing the playoff final weekend screened live. And also, wrong not to get to this point and not talk about the Giants Awards briefly. Just to run you through them, the forward of the year was Ben Lake. The D-man of the year was Jeff Baum. The unsung hero was Jackson Whistle. Top point scorer, Daniel Tedesco. Jim Gillespie Award, we spoke to Jacob Friend earlier, and of course, Davy Phillips as well was part of that. OSC Young Player of the Year, Bobby McIntyre. Young Player of the Year was Bobby Mack. Player of the Year was Jeff Baum from the OSC. Coaches Player of the Year, OC, Oliver Cooper. The Ian Barton Award, what encompasses a Belfast Giant, goes very deservedly to Andrew Dixon. The fan favourite was Kohei Sato. The Players Player of the Year was Jeff Baum. And the most valuable player from the Belfast Giants, the MVP, is Jeff Baum. Davey, which one of those stands out to you? Jeff Baum sweeping up the awards that he needed.
Well, obviously the Jeff Baum show. It was really great to be there as well. Fantastically organised event. Let's say easily 1,000, if not more, there, Simon.
I'd say so.
Really professionally put on. Great to see Jeff Baum. Unfortunately, having a limp up and down those stairs. I guess the other big award for me, seeing OC getting Coaches Player of the Year, he goes in the corners, he comes back out with the puck. He seldom goes in there and loses it. He's just a big beast of a guy, and I know there's quite a lot of happy people around there, but he's just one of the nicest people you could ever want to meet. Angry when he needs to be on the ice, and just a pleasure of it. But listen, from forward of the year, Ben Lake, thoroughly deserved. I think we talked about Daniel Tedesco on the podcast, or the live podcast as well, how well he's done since the turn of the year. David Goodwin coming in and making that a really great threesome. But the story of the night, well, apart from Dicko, hardest working guy, really nice to see the hard workers behind the scenes getting recognised as well. And but the Jeff Baum show, great night.
The Jeff Baum show, but it was also the Simon Kitchen, Dave McCammon show. Did you enjoy hosting that?
You know what? It's a bit of crack. It's just nice to be involved and have the opportunity to take the mick out of a couple of them every once in a while, and with a microphone in my hand. So you obviously have to be careful because there's kids there. But if there hadn't been, Mark Cooper was going to get and you want to rip for him for sure for heckling. But no, look,
I have just briefly, I have to have a word with Dave McCammon because he kept referring to you as Giants TV's Simon Kitchen. I thought, well, hold on a minute here. It's Giants TV and A View from the Bridge is Simon Kitchen, so let's just get that right.
Lack of respect, Dave. Like, I mean, catch himself on. It's no, like as I said, it's nice to be involved and to be able to do what we do. It was good crack. It was a good night. Everybody seemed to enjoy themselves. Sponsors were well looked after. Showing their appreciation. We talk about the fans being fantastic all season. Look, the fans have been unbelievable this year. It's been a challenging season for sure. Obviously, with no silverware yet. But after the last 3 years that we've had and picking up all those trophies over the last few years, although I've seen somebody post out that the Steelers have won more points in more games over the last 3 seasons.
I love that.
2 trophies.
I love that. I love statistics like that. It's like it's a dedicated data set that makes your team look good. It's just like where can I shorten this data set to make me look better than anyone else? And that's what they do.
No, well, I mean, I'd still rather have 5 trophies in my cabinet than a screenshot of a table that means absolutely not all. Anyway, it was nice. It was nice to be involved, and the most important thing is, as I say, the recognition of the players who have been on the team this year. And Jeff Baum's, I said to Jeff Baum Senior when he was here in February and Jeff Junior was standing beside me. In my opinion, even back then, he's been the MVP this year, and he's been absolutely brilliant. So, but it's just a real pity that he's been. Nope, there's a washing machine. It's been a real pity that he's not. He's been hurt the last couple of weekends, and hopefully he's going to get back very, very soon. So, best of luck to Jeff Baum Jr.
Give us a shout out. It says, explain that. Even the 3-piece suite fans, suit fans, even suite fan. Do we get a bit of a shout out of View from the Bridge?
That was the guy that his mates told him it was his first. He's a first-year Giants fan, and told him that it was a formal event, and they had to go and put a suit on. It's right up your street for.
I love a bit of that. I love a bit of that. Absolutely fantastic. No, it was a good game. Like we unfortunately we could only stay for about 10 minutes at the start of the show. We had to get to the airport, but the whole setup was fantastic. The top to bottom, the kids had were entertained. I saw some great photographs from after the event as well downstairs, where the players are inside meeting people, shaking hands, getting photographs taken. Just that part of the game, that part is so important and fantastic. Davy people get photographs of Davy as well.
I basically walked around. There was a queue in the bar just to start.
Queue in the bar for photographs
and autographs and all handed out.
Doesn't surprise me.
Things that never happen. Didn't happen.
Spook.
An apology to Normie Faye. He wanted the sign of the shirt, but he wasn't about, or I wasn't. I had to shoot off early. We'll get that done. But well done the Giants. Well done to all the won awards, and well, and a great night was had. Right, let's batter on here, lads. We got an interview with Danny Stewart. The Belfast Giants will be taking on the Coventry Blaze in the quarterfinal of the EIHL Playoffs this very weekend. I had a chance earlier on to chat with the head coach of the Coventry Blaze. Danny, thanks for joining us again on A View from the Bridge. Let's cut straight to it. You guys had a bit of a run, and I don't want to bring it up, but you must have had like 7 games without a win. You had to show real compete levels this weekend. 9 goals, shutting out the Devils, taking the win at home and into the playoffs. The compete level last weekend, you must be delighted.
Yeah, I know for sure. I think, especially after Wednesday at home against Manchester, we whether it was nerves or stress or whatever the case may be, we didn't perform well, kind of lock-legged all over the ice. And just, I think, like I said, we just looked stressed at times. And we came in Thursday morning and, spoke about some hard truths, not just from me to them, but player to player. And, we had a good couple of days of practice. And then, but even then, nothing's a certainty. And, you go into Cardiff, very tough building. We haven't had any success there this year. If anything, we've been stomped, 2 or 3 times there. And the guys went in and honestly just, coaches always say you can't be perfect, but, we were as close to for 60 minutes as we could be. Our compete levels were off the charts, our execution, our simplicity, our willingness to play in hard areas, just everything that it takes to win in this league, but especially on the road in a tough place like Cardiff. So yeah, no, I was delighted. I think Sunday our execution probably wasn't as good. I think fatigue set in a little bit, being our third game of the week, with a lot of stress and everything that was going on, but our compete levels never dropped, and we found a way in the end. I think, Guildford had us under some big pressure there in the third period, and like I said, we had some tired legs, but guys were blocking shots. Cozy made some huge saves there, and we found a way.
What do you think the difference was? Obviously, you've had a spur import that's allowed you to rotate things a little bit. Christo's back in the lineup this weekend. He's to be playing well. Is there a bit of freshness coming in, being able to make those changes?
I mean, being able to make changes, I mean, it's not something we're generally used to here in Coventry, and we've had a couple extra bodies here, which was, I guess, a nice thing for me. And it just, it allows you to kind of hold guys accountable and compete for spots. And yeah, there's times where, a guy gets back in the lineup and brings some freshness to it. And so, yeah, I think in terms of what was different, I just, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. There wasn't a lot of change in terms of tactics. There wasn't a magic potion from myself. Sometimes it's just, the guys either dig in and get it done or they don't. And, sometimes I think, we get maybe too much credit when the guys play well and get blasted for when they don't. So,
when Shearer was out, you signed Harchie as cover. He's now paired up with Clements and seems to be doing really that pairing in defense seemed to be doing really well.
Yeah, and they have, they've kept things simple. They've been responsible. Harchie's he's a good skater. I think it allows him to defend in areas and, even situations where maybe, there's mistakes made or whatever, he can recover. And they seem to have some confidence right now. And, right through our back end and our goaltending the past, even during the 7-game stretch, we've been defending well and getting stops, and, goals were mainly the issue for us, but, it was good to see us put the puck in the net last weekend.
One of the things over the last number of years is bringing in guys from NCAA, and Alessio Luciani seems to be, he's come in first year pro, only 25 years old, and he seems to be getting the big goals.
Yeah, no, Luch has been good for us, and the NCAA road, I think everyone looks at it. We might have to sign a few more of them and try to take chances on those guys and try to find our hidden gems. And more times than not, it's worked for us. It's not always going to, pan out, but he's come on. I think it took him some time to adjust to the league, the heaviness, the pace, compared to the Division III level at NCAA. But I think, once he got, up to speed, he's just got better and better as the season's gone on.
Why do you think we've had that shift? Because obviously, this league over a number of years has seen various sort of players in here, and we quite often seen the older player who's maybe done a bit of time in North America and wants to see his career out. This year, we seem to be seeing more and more NCAA lads, young lads, quick lads come in and perform really well.
Yeah, and I think the U Sports as well. I don't think it's as much of a change. It's been more the mentality. I think teams being more aware of how good a hockey that is. And, I think if you look across the league, Todd Kelman in Cardiff and, Thornton in Belfast and myself, with some NCAA experience, I think just, getting these guys over, I think there's always an element. I think it was 2010 or 11 where was the first year we could recruit from NCAA and U Sports. Yeah. And then once, teams started doing it and seeing the success of it, those top conferences and top teams in NCAA hockey, I mean, they're stacked with guys that are either going American League or NHL. So, if you can find those guys that maybe aren't quite there and can come here and have good pro careers, you're going to find those hidden gems. So I just think, the shift is obviously, Guildford was another one I was going to mention, connections to Stan Marple and at the U of A, and you see, the influence that they've had there. And, I think it's such good hockey on both aspects that they're obviously going to translate to this league very well.
So let's come to this weekend. It's another quarterfinal. It's another quarterfinal against the Belfast Giants. Obviously, I'm not going to talk too much about earlier this season and the way that other quarterfinal went. But how are you guys preparing for this? You've come off a great run last weekend. The momentum is obviously high, and you're looking for a good weekend.
Well, obviously last weekend was important for belief. certainly after the last couple of weeks. So in terms of preparation, just piecing it one day at a time, just kind of, digging into how Belfast plays. We got a good awareness of that, playing them, the extra couple times in the cup, and then obviously 6 during the regular season, and just reminders, key guys that they have, but at the same time, just trying to focus as well on what made us successful over the weekend and areas we can get better. So just trying to stretch it out and make sure guys are fresh and healthy for the weekend, so we're at 100% going into those games.
How good is it for you guys to have the second leg at home?
I mean, I've been in this league a long time, and I've seen the benefits of being at home first or home second. I think you always can claim in hindsight, once that first leg's done, that it's good that you're at home, or it's bad that you weren't at home the first leg. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going into a very tough building, and we want to put in a good enough performance that we gives us a chance coming back home. And then you come back home, everything's anything can be done. So like I said, I've had these conversations year after year after year, and like I said, I haven't noticed a trend where we benefit from being at home first or second. So you just got to go into that first leg, put in a good performance, give yourself a chance the second leg.
I say this full in the knowledge of how that second leg in the Challenge Cup quarterfinal went in Belfast, Danny. So it's no irony in that conversation. Finally, just from me, I appreciate your time. When you look back at this regular season, what successes will you draw from it?
The successes, I mean, I think the resiliency of our club. We had a tough start out of the gate, and some lot, and you know what? Again, we had a big changeover. We lost a couple key senior Brits in Forbes and Venus. We lost our captain, probably our best player. We lost our top scorer, our top centerman. So, it was always going to be tough to kind of just pick up where we left off from last year. And we got off to a bit of a rocky start, and then we found some form and went on a 9-game run in December, and, spurred us up into the table. And then, from Christmas, there was some patchy bits, some very high highs in terms of overtime wins and comeback wins, and then some losses where we let games slip. And then obviously the tragedy of Keno hit us hard. And, I think up until this past weekend, we, since that happened, we've won 2 games out of, I think, 11 or 12. And for the guys to pick themselves up when it mattered the most and find a way to get it done this weekend, you got to give them credit. Has it been a perfect season? Far from it. But, you can look at yourself all you want, but it's a testament to the league as well. The league this year was so good. There's no easy nights. And I don't know if we'll ever see 5 teams battling for 2 spots on the last weekend and so close, like to the point where you could finish 6th. Any team could finish 6th or 10th. Based on results. And I don't know if we'll ever see that again. So credit to the league for being, a tougher league. And, luckily for us, we found a way.
Resilience is definitely the word of the year, I think, mate. We really do appreciate your time. Well done on reaching the playoffs. Obviously not so much good luck this weekend, but we do appreciate your time. We'll chat to you again.
No problem. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Big thanks to Danny Stewart for taking the time and joining us. Resilience is certainly the word, I think, for this season for so many teams. The Belfast Giants will face the Coventry Blaze this weekend in the quarterfinals of the Elite League Playoffs, Saturday, 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena. Get yourself down there, or it will be the final outing on Giants TV for the esteemed Mr. Kitchen this season. And then we go to Coventry on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. at the Sky Dome. If you're not making the trip over there, you can join Ed and Stu on Blaze TV. It's going to be interesting pair of games, obviously. Looking for a bit of revenge on the back of what happened in the Challenge Cup. But what I'm going to do, gents, is I'm going to ask you for your playoff predictions. We do this more or less on an annual basis. I've got a pen, I've got a pad, but what I'm going to do first is, we asked earlier on a bit of a snap poll on Twitter to see what the people out there thought. We thought, put it out and see if anybody choose. We're going through all different quarterfinals, and it's come up as more or less along the way of the higher seed. 204 votes in that. Sheffield Steelers getting 65.2% over the 5 Flyers. In the second quarterfinal, the Cardiff Devils with 76%. In the third semi-final, the Belfast Giants, 85% of the Coventry Blaze in those results. And the Manchester Storm, obviously you would expect the fourth, fifth to be a little bit closer, 58.8% in that. And on that, gentlemen, there are your 4 quarterfinals for the Elite League playoffs. Mr. McGimsey, give us your 4 winners. Who's going to Nottingham for the final 4?
Are they being played in that order?
Well, that's the
home team first night.
No, let me just check the. I can
Yeah.
give you the. Oh, are they? But not. Is that the case every night? It is actually.
Yep.
Yes, every home team.
Sheffield play Friday and Sunday.
That's right.
Everybody else plays Friday, Saturday. But all the first team, the home team is the higher seed the first night. Believe it or not.
Yes,
Right. Much as I would like to see the 5 Flyers and Tom Cullen get to the big dance, I just think the Sheffield Steelers are too stacked, even though they're playing at Ice Sheffield. I don't think that's going to have a major impact on the. So I'll take the Steelers. If Ben Barnes is in net for the Cardiff Devils, they'll probably just have enough. I hope that we go through, but I'm not going to predict on that. I'll just say yes for us. And the Storm, the Flames. That's a tight one, if the Storm, Guildford Flames home second night, I could see that being the only one where the higher seed doesn't win. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and the Flames.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Simon.
Yeah, I think Sheffield will beat 5. I think Cardiff have got too much for Dundee because Dundee looked like they're going to be playing Lucas Bryan, who's been great, but just thinking in a playoff process, the Cardiff Devils will win over 2 legs. Us to beat Coventry, and I do genuinely think that Guildford are going to beat Manchester.
All right, so you two are going to the same. I'm going for 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think the Storm will take the field. I think the way they've played this season, they've got some players in there that could really push them through into that final 4, the bit between their teeth, and I think the Storm. I think we'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. It's unusual we see 1, 2, 3, 4, but if we do see 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. We'll face that would mean that we face the Cardiff Devils in the second semi-final. Sheffield would face either Storm or Guildford in the first semi-final come that Saturday of playoffs. But we'll see how that comes. We'll have a look next week and see how we shape up. As I said, Giants Coventry Saturday 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena or Giants TV. Giants at Coventry Sunday 5:30. Sky Dome and Blaze TV. Any other business, gentlemen?
I have a couple. It is Autism Awareness Week this Saturday night in the arena. So bright colours are encouraged, along with Giants colours, obviously. So you're more than welcome to come along. Adam Keefe is one of the ambassadors for Autism NI, so he'll be supporting that along with everybody else as well. And tomorrow we will be putting a post out about Ray Sawada. It is his anniversary tomorrow for his 1 year passing, and due to obviously everything that happened last year, and it sort of just fell on us it happened very sudden. We didn't really get a chance to recognize and support Nicole and his kids in that way. So we have been very kindly donated 2 Dallas Stars jerseys from Jeff Baum Sr. One of those jerseys is going to go up for grabs in a raffle tomorrow. It is a replica fight-strapped home jersey for the Dallas Stars. And one of their star players, Rupe Hintz, and it's signed by Rupe Hintz as well. So we will be putting that out on raffle tomorrow on the AVFTB. So if we can retweet that, obviously the club will retweet it as well. What way it's going to be supportive when the money's raised is still to be determined, but we will get out to you as soon as possible. But thoughts with Nicole and the Sawada kids. Obviously a year in passing.
Hard to believe. Davey, anything from yourself?
You had a couple, Simon. Is that you done?
It's me, man.
I just wanted this. I promised Lauren and Colin Kirkwood a shout out. Met them on the glider the other night on the way in the town. Had a lovely chat with them, and they asked me to give them. Oh, you always watch the podcast? Give me a nice show. Lauren and Colin, very nice to meet you on the glider. Oh, there she is. No doubt. There she is. Yes, got to meet her at the glider station in Dundonald on Saturday afternoon, I think it was, or maybe Friday afternoon. Can't remember which game it was now.
Not just at the SSE Arena. You're a star, Davy. Fair play to you, man.
The glider stop in Dundonald, picked up everywhere.
But honestly, the highlight of my weekend, and I know it was great for the hockey and all, I got to meet in person Randy and Lillian Cooper, Mark Cooper's mum and dad. And like you couldn't meet better people worldwide. Lillian's now my new counsellor, and Randy's a good friend now, so stayed on my toes a lot. Great guys, great family, and really looking forward to catching up with them again sometime in the future. Really great people.
Good weekend all around. I think it's the results for good results for the Belfast Giants. Good weekend for us. Good weekend for all. Good weekend all around. Enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed it. Nice one. Right.
Just one last thing, Paddy. Just to touch on, you mentioned about the game this weekend. Guys, there's not many tickets left. So if anybody does want to go this weekend, now is the time, because again, it is going to sell out this weekend for the last game of the season. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I think the way it's been, like the full bowl of the last couple of nights, those couple of nights against Sheffield was remarkable. I know that, and credit to the Sheffield Steelers fans. They were always going to travel in numbers, given the way this season has come, given that doubleheader, and how they probably enjoyed coming in to rub our noses in it. But there was good crack over the course of the weekend, and certainly on Saturday night, where tickets were, our Declan was just kept shouting. We were right next to them, and when they were up and shouting, our Declan, he's only 4, just pointing them, shut up, boo, shut up, boo, sit down. I was like, don't know where you get that from, son. Don't know where you get that from. That's not something I would do. Absolutely not. But it was good fun. Sorry, says you're about to say something.
No, that was literally about to say to you. Make sure you tell that story about Declan.
Yeah,
Joanna's got a lot to answer for, mate. Joanna's got a lot to answer for. My goodness.
That's her influence. Nothing to do with me. You never had me shouting at games. Absolutely not. But no, I really enjoyed it. Right, and that's where we're going to start leaving. A big thanks to Jacob Friend and to Danny Stewart for their time. We really enjoyed having Friendly on. It was really good fun. Get us at AVFTB on Twitter, kingdomofthegiants.com, all usual places, podcast at kingdomofthegiants.com for any emails, which we never get. And get us on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the usual sort of places. What we're going to do, and of course, a big thank you to you two gentlemen, as always. Is this the week, sis?
Yeah, tomorrow morning, mate. I'm in on surgery tomorrow morning. I get my hopefully this will be the last time you'll see me wearing glasses, unless they're just stylish glasses, which they aren't. Cathedral Eye Clinic tomorrow morning, 10:20. Laser eye surgery. So apparently I'm going to be okay in a couple of days. 20/20 vision back. So here's hoping.
Best luck, mate. Hope it all goes very straightforward. All goes well for you. Yeah. And with that, we're going to actually close the show. For those who were in attendance at the awards dinner, the awards night, what used to be the awards dinner, the awards night, they saw the end of season montage from the fantastic Neil Whiteside. He always does a great job. We're going to close the show with that. And wherever you are this weekend, we hope you enjoy your hockey. We'll catch you here next time on A View from the Bridge. Bye.
No, I turned wrong, left your heart torn. Is that what devils do? Took you so long, where only fools go. I shook the angel in you. Now I'm rising from the ground, rising up to you. Filled with all the strength I found, there's nothing I can't do.
What a finish! Thank you very much. Giants. Erickson finds the net. And there come the Cowboy hats. Yeehaw!